dripping on the ground.
I want you guys to stick around to the whole entire video, because before I get into how I took over the situation with how sick Justice is, I just want to show you the actual raw footage at the vet. So if you find this content helpful, just do us a favor and subscribe to the channel and join the fam. We'd really appreciate it.
We would to get his entire abdomen, just because he is quite large.
Yeah.
X-rays themselves would be around 300.
It's fine, whatever you need to do. Just
You
with the
can
blood draw, knowing he's
see how much is
dehydrated,
dripping
it might be
out of
hard.
his penis.
Yeah, he doesn't ever have drippage like that, and it's coming out of his eyes too, like that green.
So he has not eaten anything at all in 2 days.
Three
Is he
key-
normally still getting the raw diet?
Yep.
And obviously he hasn't been active like himself, just lethargic.
There's some gas in the intestines, but I don't see an obvious obstructive pattern or anything like that. Sometimes if their stomach is slowed down because they don't feel well. So again, some gas in there.
So the white blood cell count, so he's
yeah.
fighting an infection of some sort?
Most likely infection or inflammation. The bands again suggest some sort of infection going on. His hematocrit is normal, so normal red blood cells. He's not anemic. What we're seeing here, so his blood sugar is normal. His kidney values are normal, so those will elevate with kidney disease, but also dehydration, and they're normal. So it's not looking too bad on that. Phosphorus and calcium are normal. The proteins overall are okay. So the ALT is mildly elevated. I'll go through that. The other liver values are good. Electrolytes are good. SDMA is good. So
Surprised it good. His urine was like, did you see it?
I didn't, but I heard, dark, and
like,
that's the next thing to
it was like
do it.
brownish black.
So the ALT could be elevated due to an infection in the liver, but the ALT can also be elevated in a reaction to something that's happening to the GI tract.
Okay.
So not wanting to eat, GI irritation, the liver cleans that up.
Yep.
So it's a possibility that the liver is going to go, I'm a little disturbed because of what's
It's working
happening
so
there.
hard to detoxify him.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not a huge elevation, but it's enough to go, all right, we need to be careful on that. So these are your copies. Right?
Okay.
So on the urine so far, it looks like there's a lot of, at least what the machine says is blood and a little bit of bilirubin. So there's so much stuff that the machine couldn't really read the sediment, so she's gonna read it by her own eyeballs and see what's in there. So, if there is really blood and a lot of white blood cells, then I would, again, most likely worry about the prostate again. Even though it didn't look too bad on the x-ray. So, copy. So we have two options. Obviously, he's doesn't feel well. The two main options, one is we refer you to a specialist. Advantage of going to a specialist is, one, they can do an ultrasound and see, hey, are there changes in the prostate? How does the liver look? They can actually look inside. We have a machine that
Every time Bruce would get sick, and I say Bruce because this is the first time that Justice has ever been sick in his entire life. And Bruce is just very concerned. He's just staring at Justice right now. His head's cut off. He's very concerned with Justice. And honestly, Justice was on his deathbed.
I'm scared.
Like, I was legit scared. I've never seen this dog sick. And when your dog's sick, this was an entire different level. So every time Bruce would get sick, it seemed like they'd always focus on him being intact and raw fed. And they would try to figure out if it's something with his raw diet or him being intact. And I say that because there's lessons to be learned here with that, where you almost have to not be your own doctor, but you have to take your dog's health in your own hands, in your own health too. You guys know I have a lot of chronic health issues that are pretty debilitating. And I had to do a lot of research and bring things to the doctors so they could test me for proper things, which then they found out, yes, this is what I have. Use this as an example just to be your own advocate for yourself and for your pets. And I'm sure Kara's seen it a lot as well.
It's interesting you bring it up because when there's if you want to call them outliers, if you will, for something a doctor's not comfortable with, like Jason said, the raw diet and being intact males, those could be things that just get brought up even when they're not relevant, that could maybe then detract from the actual situation. And it makes me think about you, like Jason's health with Lyme disease. If he goes to a doctor who knows nothing about Lyme and he has symptoms of something else.
And porphyria.
They're just they'll maybe just chalk it up to that versus doing their due diligence.
Yep.
So there are a lot of lessons to be learned here for anyone's health and safety moving forward.
Yes, and the next lesson to be learned is this came to well over $1,000 when all said and done. Yeah. The medications, the x-rays, and everything else. We've been big advocates since we've had Bruce to have pet insurance. Please get pet insurance. That's a huge chunk of change. So a lot of people just don't have that chunk of change just to cough up for their dog. And it can be a life or death situation like it essentially was.
You can tell when we were at the vet too, it was like, well, we can do this, but it's kind of expensive. The meds, it's kind of expensive. You can tell the way they present it in a way to not be pushy, which I super appreciate. But for us, we're like, we have insurance and it's important to us. That's why we have insurance. Do all the tests, please.
And I know you guys are gonna ask me what we have for pet insurance. I'm not advocating for any pet insurance. I will simply tell you what we have, and then you can do your own research to figure out if it's good for you or not. Right. Bruce Wayne is on Healthy Paws, and then Justice is on Embrace. So you have to do your own research, see if they're good, see if they're bad. I'll leave it at that. And I'm pretty sure he is dealing with it too now. Justice went from 0 to 100. He wouldn't eat
Total 180.
or drink for 3 days. Day 3 is the day run with the vet, which the footage you just watched was day 3 that morning. He had 6 ounces of goat milk only over those 3 days and 3 cucumbers. That's all he would touch. Justice lost about 10 pounds over that time, like when he was weighed at the vet, which is huge.
He loves food.
You can tell he just looks gaunt, he looks skinny, he looks frail. He looks like he's in a lot of pain.
Basically wouldn't move.
Yeah. He literally would go to a spot either outside or in the house and not move the entire day. Yeah. Like not get up, not move. They did x-rays on him. They wanted to check his prostate, and his prostate, as you guys saw on the footage, looked fine. But even though it looked fine, she still wasn't convinced it wasn't the prostate.
It couldn't have been a possible issue.
Yes. And then they also, because he's on the raw diet, was thinking, well, maybe because he's on the raw diet, he's got the bird flu. Now, I presented to them, could it be lepto? Because he was in a new body of water, and the incubation period for lepto is like 4 to 12 days, 4 to 14 days, somewhere in there, which lines up perfectly for when he was sick. Mm-hmm. They pretty much dismissed lepto and weren't really sure what it was. So they didn't test him for lepto. They did his blood work. Mm-hmm. His blood work looked okay. It was good. His I think his ALT was slightly elevated. Yep. His white blood count was elevated, showing he had an infection. And as you guys saw in the footage, he had an infection. It was coming out of his eyes. It was coming out of his penis. That night, I was like, this doesn't sit well with me. If he's got lepto, and yes, I know you guys are gonna ask now, both dogs are vaxxed against lepto. Mm-hmm. But vaccines aren't perfect. Right. A lot of vaccines aren't that effective. That's why I stopped giving the dogs the Lyme vaccine, because a lot of dogs that have Lyme vaccine still end up getting Lyme. It's not that effective. So I don't want to over-vaccinate my dog. So a tip, if you don't want to over-vaccinate your dog, is when your dog's due for the next vaccine, is it teeter or titer?
Titer.
So titer test your dog. That way they can, it tells how, if they still have the antibodies in it or stuff, see if they actually need it or not.
Right.
So that's what I started to do this past year at Justice.
Yep.
So yes, they were vaccinated against it. So the next day I brought him back in. They tested him for lepto. They had to send it out. It was like, that was Saturday? It was Saturday, and today is Tuesday. We got a call about 3 hours ago. Justice tested positive for lepto. I've been feeling pretty ill the past week, meaning I probably have lepto.
You know what? Neither of us have felt good since we got home.
Yes.
Honestly.
So I'm trying to get on doxy because the antibiotics he is on right now that they gave us aren't going to fully get rid of lepto. It's still going to stay in his system, which can destroy his organs long term, his kidneys. So he's getting on doxy. And now I'm looking at him. You guys can't see it. He's got green stuff coming out of his penis.
Yeah.
So he's probably got it. I've probably got it, and she's probably got it.
Yeah, I
so
don't feel that great right now.
I feel horrible. Like I keep waking up in the middle of the night with these awful headaches where I want to throw up. They're so bad. My skin hurts to touch. Like I am not one just to lay down in the middle of the day and I just lay down and pass out. I'm just so exhausted.
It's very contagious. So when we called,
contagious.
and to backtrack for a second, when Jason did more research, really thinking it was lepto again, kind of not letting that go, he was like, can you call and just see if they could do lepto testing? So I called that day and they were like, yep, we do, you can come, but they're like, we want you to stay in your car because the severity of lepto, and we don't want you to contage other sick animals and other people. So when Jason went there to do the lepto test, he didn't even get out of the car because that's how contagious it is. That's how serious it is.
They literally just took the blood out of the back of the car.
Yep.
So I'm a little upset that the lepto thing was kind of just like shrugged off.
Yeah.
And I'm not trashing my vet. I love our vet. She's super kind. She's super caring, super nice. But I just sometimes feel like a lot of vets just get tunnel vision sometimes. And I feel like this is one of those instances because he's intact and he's on a raw diet.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of like what they kept saying. I'm like, it's an infection. I knew it wasn't his prostate. I didn't think it was bird flu. I knew it wouldn't be salmonella. I got the salmonella because a couple people like, maybe it's salmonella. Very hard for dogs to get salmonella. It can happen because of their saliva in their mouth and their short digestive tract. It's hard for dogs to get salmonella.
I honestly think he's never been sick because he's not neutered, because he's on a raw diet his entire life.
And he hasn't been over-vaxxed. He's been vaxxed, but not over-vaxxed.
Right.
And also another thing is justice, when they took a urine sample, it was like dark
You said it was so
rust.
dark. Yeah.
And I told the vet, I'm like, I think he needs an IV. I think he's dehydrated. And she's like, well, the test doesn't show he's dehydrated. He was dehydrated. He drank 6 ounces of water in 3 days. No ifs, ands, or buts around it. The dog was dehydrated. And this is really scary because Bruce is 8. So he's not a young pup anymore that can recover. And even young pups, it can kill them. It can kill them very quickly. Short-term risks: kidney failure, liver failure, internal bleeding, meningitis-like symptoms, and some dogs, sudden death.
Oh, that makes sense why massaging his neck and head has felt so good for him.
Yeah.
That's the meningitis.
In the past week, I told her before he even got sick, before he even started showing symptoms, I'm like, I have all this pressure in the back of my head and neck. I don't know why.
Oh, gosh.
So 99% sure I've got lepto, and she probably has it too. She's in a healthier state than I am. Long-term risks: you become a chronic carrier state. Dog may recover partially on its own, but they're going to continue to shed lepto in the urine for months and months and months. And it's very, very, very contagious. Be a silent source of infection to other pets and humans. Develop chronic kidney damage or liver dysfunction. Even mild untreated cases can lead to permanent organ damage. Zoonotic risk stays high. Dog's urine remains infectious. It can contaminate bedding, grass floors, bowls, and toys. If you have an open cut, compromised immunity, or clean up urine without gloves, you're at risk. Especially dangerous for children, elderly, and immunocompromised adults. Bottom line, treatment is critical, not just for the dog, but to break the shedding cycle. With antibiotics, usually doxycycline, dogs stop shedding within 3 to 10 days and symptoms resolve much faster.
Jason, if you did not advocate to go back and have this tested, I feel like eventually he would have stayed chronically ill and we'd have no answers as to why.
Or died.
Because we would have never
bad.
gotten answers. Bruce being elderly and not having the best of health probably would have killed him.
And I think he's got it right now.
You are going to continue to decompensate.
Yep.
If you didn't advocate to go back and have this tested.
That's why I was so pissed.
Raged.
Like I was really pissed, guys. Like super pissed. Obviously, it's my family. My family's everything.
And it's just hard when like Justice literally to notice it in Justice is so obvious for him to not be well. Not just because he's never been sick, but
Because he's the happiest dog you've ever
because of what type
seen.
of dog he is.
He's the happiest dog you've ever met.
He is so happy, sweet. Let me bring you a toy every 5 seconds. Let me wiggle around you. To see him go from that to barely moving screamed to me, I'm about to die. And Jason's done videos on Bruce discussing how he's kind of like made amends with like, our dogs are gonna die someday. Like this is something you have to wrap your mind around, right? And I know this, but it was definitely not something I had started wrapping my mind around with him until seeing him like that. I was like, are you kidding me? Because I never thought I was going to have to make amends with losing him before Bruce.
Yeah, at this
you know, not that one's easier than the other. I'm just saying it's like I was not prepared for that chain of events to occur. And now thinking about it like something as simple as just getting the right testing. Like if that can be the message of this video for your own health and for your dog's health, advocate for it. Get the freaking pet insurance. Yes. You know, do your research. We have no reason not to. Jason's a wealth of knowledge, but like, can I also just say kindly, like don't take, if you're watching this now and your dog's having symptoms, don't DM Jason and have him try to help you diagnose it. He's not a vet. Right? Like, so do your own research to figure out, knowing your own dog, what are their symptoms, what's changed. We knew with Justice, the only thing that changed was that trip up north and putting him in the water where we know he consumed water because he's a chewer while he's in the water. He chews his sticks. We knew that was the only difference. Mm-hmm. And Jason led with his gut and is thankfully a Taurus and is strong-willed and
I was pissed at the one time I was right.
I know you didn't want to be right, but I told him I'm glad he was right because obviously now we have an answer. And my gosh, if we didn't get that answer, what could have happened here could have been deadly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not even saying he's in the clear. He's
could have been deadly. We could be doing a video where we don't have any dogs, essentially.
Yeah, this was a scary one, a huge learning lesson, and also just. Thank gosh that Jason is as knowledgeable as he is and advocates as strongly as he does because he's been forced to, I think is why you're such an advocate for our dogs because you've had to do it for your own health too.
Yeah, yep. So you always have to it's hard for some people to stand up for themselves or their dogs because you go to professionals. But you also have to understand that the professional you go to is human.
They're human.
They only know what they know. It's not like they're going to be able to know everything in the world. They just can't. And it can get overwhelming, I'm sure. Like we went through a host of different things that could be with him. You know, it's just kind of like. I was just like, I'm like, it's lepto. Yeah. It's lepto. Yeah, you had that gut feeling, you knew. It doesn't matter if he's vaxxed or not. It's lepto. Right. Right. Know? So we'll see. We'll keep you guys updated on his recovery. And I'm glad Bruce is getting an antibiotic too. And it sucks because Justice gut now is going to be forever compromised because he's going on antibiotics. Yep. If you've never been on antibiotics and then you go on them, it forever changes your gut microbiome. It can never go back to that virgin state. Sure, you can build it back up again, but it's never going to be what it once was. He's on a probiotic right now. I made sure I put him on one. I'm probably going to keep him on one for 3 to 6 months. I'm going to put him on like this whole gut protocol to make sure his gut recovers from this as much as possible. But yeah, gut health is very important in our dogs. So with that being said, if you guys are interested in raw diets or on raising that calm, stable Canine Corso, I have 2 new ebooks right now. I haven't got them listed online yet. I'm trying to figure out how to list them, where to list them, like what platform to put them on. So I'm selling them at a discounted price right now through my email. They're $50 each. Each one comes with my 110 Holistic Dog Remedy Guide for free, or you can buy the raw ebook and the Canine Corso Blueprint Guide together, bundled for $80. Just email me at floodglc@gmail.com. and I'll send you the information where to send payment and send those right over to you. They've already helped a ton of people out.
If you're thinking about it, I'd email him now because I'm pushing him to get these on a platform, FYI.
She's
That's not a fear tactic. That's legit. I'm like, we are getting this set up. So.
And until next time, Bruce Wayne, Joey Justice, Kara Corey, and myself. See you later. Sorry we're a little down this video, but obviously none of us are feeling well. All right, guys, peace.
You know what I just thought of?
What's that?
Is this like dick juice over here? Because
It
all
is.
of that's going to be contamination.
It is, and look, it's all over. You're gonna wipe his wiener up. I already saw that. I was gonna go clean. I was gonna go.
The only way to kill it is bleach, which we can't just put on carpet, or that he said it's called 409 disinfectant. That's what they use in the clinic.
Well, things are looking a little bit better. He'll eat by hand feeding him. I slow cooked him some chicken to see if he'd eat this. And he'll eat this out of my hand, but he won't eat it off the plate. So he's been drinking goat milk the past 2 days, and you can see his eyes. You guys always see Justice. He doesn't have leaky eyes like that. He doesn't have allergies like Bruce has seasonal allergies. Bruce over here, Ian. He doesn't have seasonal allergies like Bruce. And it kind of annoys me because, like, reading the vet write-up, it says possible infection. No, this dude had an infection. It was so clear that he had an infection. Like, the thick green stuff coming out of his eyes, the thick green stuff coming out of his dick. It's like, bro, he's got an infection. I don't know what kind it is. I brought him back to the vet yesterday. To have him tested for lepto, which I brought it up to him the first time when I was there, and like, no, it doesn't really add up. Totally adds up because I was telling them that he was in a new body of water, Memorial Day. And incubation period for lepto is like 4 to 12 days, I believe, 14 days. So it's essentially lining up exactly. And I can get lepto, Bruce can get lepto, Kara can get lepto. So I'm trying to be ultra careful, keeping everything sterilized and clean. She's gonna eat this whole thing. So yeah, I was just kind of annoyed that they didn't, like, even though I brought it up, they said no. They kept saying bird flu. I'm like, I don't think so. I ain't gonna be messaging everybody back. I know a ton of people are asking how Justice is. Like, kind of just to protect my own mentals. I don't want to keep rehashing things. So I'm not ignoring you. Well, this is such a good sign. But gotta also protect my own mentals here. Thanks for all the love and prayers and best wishes for Justice. He's literally was like on death's door, it seemed. I've never seen him act like this. So I'm hoping this food, obviously being so dehydrated too. Let's see if I eat off this plate if I hold it. Being so dehydrated too, he's just gonna be so weak and lethargic after such a high fever he had. Yes, buddy, I'll hold it for you. Right there. You want to see you want to eat it?